Sup guys, Christos here. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing 6 common money traps that could potentially stop you from living a life of financial freedom. Most of these traps are ones that you need to avoid in your earlier years, so like your 20s, but some of the ones that I'm going to be mentioning also need to be avoided throughout your entire life. So let's get into it. Number 1, going out and buying a brand new expensive car that is going to put you into debt. Listen, I get it. You're in your 20s, maybe your 30s, all of your friends are going out and driving around in BMWs, brand new Mercedes, and you want the same. But is it really worth it? Well, let me tell you from my own personal experience, it's not. When I was 21 years old, I made this exact same mistake where I had worked so hard to save up £11,000 in my bank account, but instead of doing something good with that money, I decided to go and spend all of it on a relatively new Volkswagen Scirocco, so the entire £11,000 I spent on that car. And whilst at the time I felt quite good driving it, at the time that was considered as a really nice car to drive, it's still a really nice car now, but literally after about 3 months, I was completely bored of that car. I was used to it. There wasn't really anything special about it to me anymore. It simply did the same job which a £3,000 hatchback would have done for me, but instead I was £11,000 poorer. One thing I always love to tell people when talking about this mistake I made is that if I could go back to that time, around 2012 time, and actually go back and instead of spending that £11,000 on that car, because at the time I was actually quite interested in the stock market, but I had no clue about it. Obviously I didn't go ahead and invest till about 5 or 6 years later, but if I was to go ahead and invest that £11,000 into Apple stock, which at the time then was still my favourite company, I would actually have £119,324 in my bank account. Now let's ask the question, what would you rather have? A really nice car at the time that would last about 3 months of your enjoyment, then it just becomes like any other car, or just wait it out 9 years with investments into the stock market and have £120,000 in your bank before the age of 30? For me, the answer's simple. Money trap number 2, not building an emergency fund. This is something that I talk about so much on this YouTube channel, and basically what you need to have is anything between 3 to 6 months worth of your monthly outgoings saved in a separate account for emergencies. And when I say emergencies, I am literally talking about nothing else. Nothing like, oh, I need to go on holiday and spend this money, that's an emergency, I haven't got any money to buy this thing that I need. All I am talking about is that if you lost your job, your business shut down, you need to be able to pay your essential bills. This is the money that you can go into. And realistically, having this emergency fund is actually what I would class as the first foundation of building financial freedom. Having an emergency fund will allow you to go ahead, take more risks, invest more money into the stock market without the worry of losing it all. And then of course, you do not have to worry about the stress of losing your job, losing your business, anything like that, because you know that if that was to happen, you've got anywhere between 3 to 6 months to turn your life back around again. And for me, you can just live a much stressful life, which is a really key factor to building financial freedom. One common thing that you will see from people that do not set up emergency funds is normally they will have to go out and take out personal loans, go into debt, and then they will spend the next 3 or 4, 5, 6 years paying those debts off, which will essentially lead them just living paycheck to paycheck for the rest of their life. Number 3, moving out too soon. Now I know, just like the car thing, if you were to move out at a younger age, it's a pretty cool thing to do. You can say to your friends, come over, let's have some beers, let's play the PlayStation, you know, we haven't got to worry about people over watching us. And don't get me wrong as well, if you do move out at an earlier age, you naturally will become more independent in life. However, if you are presented an opportunity where you can still live with your parents or somebody else rent-free, I would take advantage of this as much as you possibly can and for as long as you possibly can, because this will simply make the transition from a financial standpoint of moving to your own house so much smoother, because you are able to save up so much more money because you are not having to worry about paying those those required bills. The only key thing here to remember is that you need to understand the opportunity that is being provided to you. I know so many of my old friends that used to live with their parents until they were about 25, 26 years old, but they would take advantage of that in the wrong ways. They would look at all of this newfound money that they have got because they are now starting their careers, they're not having to worry about bills, and they would spend that on nights out, they would spend it on holidays, they would spend it on going out for meals, and this is just completely the opposite of what you should be doing and the motivation between staying at home as long as possible. Now, if you did want to go out and have all of those fun things and that was the way that you wanted to live your life, that's absolutely fine. Go ahead and move out, and this is something that you would have to learn the hard way. But yeah, the key thing to note here is that if you do have the opportunity, try to stay at home, living rent-free for as long as you possibly can. I know it's not going to make you as independent as someone that typically moves out at an earlier age, but let me ask you the question. Would you rather be able to say to people, I know how to wash my own bed sheets by the age of 21, or would you rather say by the age of 25, I had an extra £30,000, let's say, to put towards my house mortgage? Once again, the answer for me is simple. Money trap number 4, not investing enough into yourself. Now, whilst I have been saying in this video it is important to save as much money as you can in your 20s, it is also important to understand the free time that you're going to have as well, typically, let me just say, and spend some of that money in investing into yourself. In your earlier years, your responsibilities are going to be so much less than when you are older, and things like going out to conferences, going out and buying some books to read, and then taking online courses are simply going to take a back seat maybe if you start to build a family or you have other responsibilities. So it's really important to take advantage of these when you have that free time when you are younger. Let's use me once again as an example. One of the main reasons I didn't start this YouTube channel, if you actually go over to my YouTube channel, you see that I created it in 2013 and I didn't actually start filming videos until 2018. This is simply because I didn't know how to work a camera, I didn't know about the equipment, I didn't know how to present myself on camera, and all 3 of these aspects is something that I could have gone out, paid some money, invested in myself and learned. And let's just say I was to start back in 2013 when I had learned those things, my YouTube channel would be much bigger than what it is now. I would have more views, more subscribers, and eventually I would actually be making more money. So for that reason alone, I think it's so important to invest in your skills, your knowledge, and your personal development. Money trap number 5, not practicing good budgeting techniques. When you're younger, you're typically going to have the most free money, especially if you're still living at home rent-free like I mentioned in a previous point. But one mistake that I see people make is not practicing the management of their money. This is simply because they have no required bills that they have to pay. They never seem to run out of money, and if they were to run out of money, it wouldn't be the end of the world because they could just go downstairs to your parents' fridge and grab some food or something like that. But eventually what normally happens is the day that they have to move out and the day that they take on all of these different financial responsibilities, they start to panic because they simply are not in the habit of managing their money effectively. They maybe go out, spend a load of money on some things, and then they realize that they've cut themselves short and they are unable to pay their bills. This is because they are simply not trained to manage their money. And the thing that I really wanted to make clear with this point is that I'm not telling you that in your 20s, your 30s, you should be as tight as you possibly can. What I am trying to say is that you should be focusing on training your brain to manage your money effectively, because budgeting and money management is simply a habit, nothing else. And the sooner you start practicing it, the more easier it will become later in life. Money trap number 6, not investing your money from early on. Now this trap right here is pretty much one of the main reasons why I actually make videos on this YouTube channel. Our education system, in my opinion, is one of the most flawed education systems out there because it simply doesn't teach you the importance of investing your money to build your financial future. Every year, inflation is constantly rising, and if we do not make our money work for us and beat inflation, then our value of our money is simply going to get less and less every year. This is something that doesn't get taught about in schools. This is something that so much of our population Americans still do not believe in right now, and it's becoming a massive problem. However, investing your money can really stop that, and it doesn't have to be investing into the stock market. It could be investing into alternative assets like gold and silver. It could be investing into a property. It could be buying a house. It could be adding more money to your early retirement fund. There are so many different options, but the key here is to make sure you are doing something, because when it comes to investing, it is not about the amount of money that you are invested, it's about the amount of time that you are actually invested. Now, I could talk to you guys all day about different types of investments on this video, but I'm not going to do that. But if you did want to check out some of my investing videos, then of course, if you haven't already, head over to my channel because I've got plenty on there. So there you go, there are 6 money traps that you need to avoid in your earlier years, and some of them you need to avoid throughout your entire life. Now, one thing before I do go, if you are interested in getting started with investing, then make sure you sign up to FreeTrade. It's a completely commission-free trading platform where if you actually deposit £1 onto the platform, you will actually get a free share in a company worth anything between £3 and £200. But having said all that, hit a like on this video if you did find it useful, comment down below anything that you want to say, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care.